Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim?
Cross your eyes and scream, man. Scream for your life.
Welcome, Scream Queens, Kings, and Things. Whether you're screaming at movies or the real life stuff, I'm your host, Jenica Olin. This is my 68th episode, and my theme of the month is Eat the Rich. Eat the Rich horror is a subgenre of horror that critiques capitalism and class inequality by portraying the ultra-wealthy as the enemy, rather than treating the 1% as merely out of touch. These stories represent elite privilege as a predatory force built on the exploitation, degradation, and literal destruction of the working class. And you know what? I agree with them. For my real world example, the idea of an ordinary place hiding a secret society with its own rituals, hierarchy, and terrifying rules, there are quite a few real world events that feel almost stranger than fiction. Nexium is probably the closest real world example of a cult that recruited the wealthy and influential. Nexium marketed itself as an executive coaching and self-improvement company, recruiting heirs, entrepreneurs, actors, and members of wealthy families. Harris's Claire and Sarah Bronfman provided substantial financial backing to this group. A secret subgroup, DOS, involved coercion, blackmail, and branding of members. Leader Keith Raniere was convicted on federal charges involving racketeering and sex trafficking. Unlike many cults, Nexium looked like a high-end networking organization from the outside. So in our movie today, we also have something that looks very different on the outside than it does on the inside. Today, I will be covering They Will Kill You, the new 2026 splatter horror movie, directed by Kirill Sokolov, written by Kirill Sokolov and Alex Litvak, starring Zazie Beetz, Patricia Arquette, and Myha'la. The estimated budget is $20 million. The tagline for this movie, let them try. Some quick trivia about this film. Director and co-writer Kirill Sokolov said the idea for the film originated from him and his wife moving into a large apartment building and jokingly imagined that all the neighbors belonged to a cult. Seeing Rosemary's Baby helped shape the concept. Patricia Arquette praised Zazie Beetz' stamina and commitment, describing her performance as a constant marathon throughout production. Tom Felton reportedly entertained Zazie Beetz between takes by playing songs on a ukulele, including one jokingly encouraging her to join the cult. Kirill Sokolov praised Zazie Beetz for handling the film's physical and emotional demands without ever losing focus during production. He also said one of his primary goals was to prevent the film from becoming campy despite its increasingly outrageous premise. This scene where Zazie Beetz' character, Asia, sets an axe on fire was an elaborate one to pull off. In order to get it right and make sure that it was safe, the stunt team ran it numerous times, and all the actors, including Beetz herself, used plenty of flame retardant to reduce the heat of the fire. However, Beetz said she could still feel it sucking up the oxygen. Unfortunately, I think that's something you cannot avoid with fire. Because Zazie Beetz appeared in nearly every scene and reportedly worked throughout the entire shoot without a day off, Kirill Sokolov nicknamed her Cyborg. Heather Graham said the film required more stunt work than any previous role she had performed. Director Kirill Sokolov described The Vigil as a loose reference to Dante's Inferno, with the building's floors functioning like successive circles of hell. Zazie Beetz said filming the rain sequences was more physically demanding than the film's fight scenes because they required repeated overnight shots under cold, artificial rain. Kirill favored practical effects whenever possible, citing his love for 1980s and 1990s horror films. The film was shot in Cape Town, South Africa, with visual effects used to transform local architecture into the apartment building known as The Vigil. If you're new here, each episode will have an intro, For this, I'm not going to do a synopsis. I'm just going to do a brief summary because I don't want to give away too much. I really want everyone to go watch this movie if you have not already seen it. I put very few spoilers in this with me and my guests. We try to really talk about the themes in depth without talking about the events in the film. So please go watch this movie if you have not already. It's streaming on HBO Max, Hulu, and Disney Plus. And you can still rent it on Prime Video. So go watch it if you don't want any spoilers at all. But even if you haven't seen it and you want to listen first, continue listening because we hint at things, but we do not go into detail. We just really talk about the themes. So you can listen here and then go watch it, ready to absorb all the different themes and things that are going on in this fantastic film.
The Virgil was built in 1923. Today, it's one of the most exclusive buildings in Manhattan.
Hi, I'm the new maid.
Asia Reeves, a prison-hardened ex-convict looking for a fresh start. Desperate to find her missing younger sister, she takes a live-in housekeeping job at a mysterious upscale tower called the Virgil. Asia quickly realizes the building is not what it seems. The wealthy tenants are secretly members of a shadowy, bloodthirsty cult led by a manipulative manager. When the residents target Asia for the next ritual, they vastly underestimate her survival instincts. Trapped inside the high-rise, Asia must use her brutal street fighting skills and prison combat experience to survive the night. The film turns into a hyper-violent martial arts-infused battle as she fights her way floor by floor to escape the cult and uncover the truth about her sister.
Our offering is on the loose. Be on the lookout. I just dropped her picture in the group chat.
Now it's time to talk horror. My guest today is Professor Kathy. She is a horror professor and social worker. She does horror film analysis. She teaches psychology, culture, and social justice through the horror genre. So what are you currently working on and where can people find you?
So what I'm currently working on are lectures, online lectures that anyone can take. So I work full time as a professor. I pitched an idea of a horror course. It ran. We had a fantastic time. And I started to think about like other people would probably love this. It shouldn't just be my students who are at my college who can take this. So in my bio on my Instagram, there is a link to different lectures that I will hold. I hold them live and then you have access to the recording afterwards. So if you can make it, come to the live session. If you can't, you'll have the access to the recording. You'll have discussion questions, reflection questions, and the discussion board where we can all discuss all the good things that we notice. So that is on Instagram at the horror prof at Instagram. So prof, PROF. So that's me.
Perfect. Yes. And I will have all that information in the show notes as well so people can find you. I have been lacking. I need to get into some of your little classes, seminars, and join the conversation because I think what you're doing is really important and it is in a lot of ways parallel to what I've been trying to do. And it's nice to see that there's another voice out there saying, hey, horror is political and it's about time and place within history. All these things shape the horrors and reflect people's fears of the time.
100%. So we don't recognize how much it reflects us. So it really is us as a case study and us. So when I think about it, that's exactly it. And a decade analysis is one of the upcoming lectures that I'll be doing, breaking down each decade and the fears and the different things, the movements going on and how that was reflected in horror. So 100% you can see each time period has its own type of horror. Like even now, and I'm going to do a video on this, but it's interesting how we've moved away a little bit from traditional monsters. Obviously, we have like Art the Clown. We have like Freddy coming back, but we're more like concepts and ideas. So we have a room, unhealthy relationships, right? So it's just interesting to see how the horror is shifting. And that's all based on what we have going on.
So many new horror movies are basically incel horror. Women are pushing back against the patriarchy in a lot of ways and these toxic male behaviors that were not seen as toxic, that were normalized. And, so we have Obsession and we have even Evil Dead Burn if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's another incel horror. It's another boy mom I love how we're even getting a reboot right now of Friday the 13th. It's going to be a show.
Oh, the show.
But it's
Yes,
a show
that's
from the
right.
mom's perspective.
Yes.
And like, she's a
Mhm.
boy mom.
Right.
That, which directly feeds into all of this incel horror. We're getting a lot of it. And I think we're really searching for accountability.
That's it. And processing, because it's a way for us to process the emotions that we have 100%. But then it's hard because not everyone connects to it in that way. So it's telling such important messages. It's giving us stuff to think about, but not everyone is recognizing the messages, which I always say is okay. But it'd be nice if we could have even more conversation as a result of these movies, which we do, but inviting more people to that table in the conversation.
But I think sometimes it's because they are the villain.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Exactly. People who don't want to open their minds to it, it's because it's reflecting, right, what they have going on, their views, perspectives, behaviors, all of that. Yes, 100%.
It's self-defensive. Today, we're here to talk about They Will Kill You. It is a newly released movie, came out this year. It's now on HBO, I believe, to stream. And I watched it like 3 times already. It's definitely one of my favorite films of the year. It's so badass. It's a splatter film, but it's so much more than that. Beneath the over-the-top violence, it uses satanic horror to satirize wealth, privilege, and systems that consume vulnerable people. And, there are a few references to other horror films past that have helped shape this movie. How did you feel about this movie after you watched it?
I felt excited, just everything about it, the look of it, the themes. I mean, the themes were obvious. I can find themes in anything, including Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I can find themes in anything, but I like that the themes were just there and just ripe, for analyzing and understanding and looking at this lens. And yeah, I loved the splatter and the way that they did it. It had a particular style, and I really appreciated that, but it didn't take away from the story for me either. So they had a really nice balance, and the story was central, and then you had all this cool stuff happening. So I loved it. So it was actually one of my students in the spring in the horror course who had seen it in the theater, I believe, and said, "Professor, you would love this movie." And I said, "Oh, I must see it." And clearly I did, because so now that's going to go on the curriculum for the next time I run the course, because it's just telling such a great story. So I loved it, and I loved it more than I thought I would. Easily a top favorite.
I'm surprised it didn't get as much attention as it should have. Honestly, I think that Ready or Not 2 came out at the same time, and I think that overshadowed it. And Ready or Not 2, they have very similar themes.
Very much.
This movie is so much better. Ready or Not 2, I watched it and it was a fail for me. I did not like it. It was so dumb. I cannot.
Did you like the first one?
Yes.
You did? Oh, interesting. One. Okay.
We could have stopped there.
Right. So I think that's right. That's it. And just kind of contain it there. And then this one comes out, and yes, this is great. It's different. So that would have been enough. But yeah, I see. That competition probably did do it, because that's a known movie. So, of course, that's where people went.
Yeah. Ready or Not 2. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I did watch it.
Okay. The ending was horrible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah,
it's just like, why are we doing this again? Why are we repeating this? Just because it was a pattern that they already had in the initial one. So it's like, okay, we're going to repeat that. It made no sense.
It was great. I know I can't say much to spoil. I just think about little parts.
I don't want to spoil it, but also I was just so disappointed.
What did you think about the themes? So obviously some of the themes from the first movie did carry over. Do you feel like those were not as strong as they were in the first movie?
No, I thought they were really stretching it as far as they possibly could. And some of those threads just they weren't strong enough to hold.
When they went in that direction with it. I see. Yes. Yeah.
It was bad. But They Will Kill You is a fantastic movie. I have had exchanges with the director on Instagram, and he's been super nice, Kirill Sokolov. So he's been very nice and responsive online. I originally was like, I wanted to get him on the podcast, but I guess he's working on another project. And I was like, well, I'm still going to cover it.
Yes. And then thank you for letting me know he's working on something else, because I definitely will need to see that. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just going to say it. I think another reason why this movie didn't do as well is because we had a female fronted Black protagonist.
Yeah. These are the things that we have to understand. Tonight, I'm doing the race and horror online lecture. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to think about, right? So even when people are, it's good when we're making the progress, but we're not used to it. And then people don't know what to do with it. And it kind of throws them off. And they don't even recognize that they're having that reaction. And if somebody else were in that role, that they would go see it. We don't critically think about these things. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I love about this movie is that whether it does well or not right now, it is here to change the way we look at women of color in the genre.
Right. I can even see, like, hopefully I'm still doing this many years from now, like looking back at this movie and kind of saying like, oh, this is kind of pushing us in a different direction now. And hopefully, right, more things are to come after that. 100%. I could see us looking back and being in the mind frame of this being pivotal.
Yeah. We're not, I don't think a lot of people are ready for that conversation, but I think, we have to kind of confront them with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's why I like to talk about what I like to talk about. You don't have to agree, but I'm just sharing good information for you to know. Yes, that's it. 100%.
Exactly. So, all right, let's get into these themes.
Okay.
We've got class warfare and disposable working class. The wealthy literally survive by sacrificing the people who serve them.
Yes.
They take in the vulnerable, people that they think will not be found. We can call these the less dead. So they're going to be immigrants. They're going to be people of color. They're going to be people that are in poverty and have very little connections to the outside world.
Right. Exactly. So, and this is what we see in real life. So that's why it's just so spot on. That's exactly what we see. You don't need a metaphor for that. You don't need a particular monster to say that. Like, that is exactly what we do and what we have always done. And what I was thinking about as you were saying that too, is that you have that and they're, they have this whole system and they are the backbone of it in so many ways. And yet they're treated as the background, but they are the backbone of everything going on. And then to be dehumanized by like that, that's exactly it. Right. Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah. Asia takes what appears to be an ordinary housekeeping job because she needs money. And, that's how a lot of people are lured into these situations because they have a need that needs to be met. And these people who are in power are taking advantage of that. And whether they physically kill you or not, we see this in the workforce all the time.
Broken spirits, feeling hopeless. Yes.
Building empires off of the backs of the poor people when they still can't even afford to have the basic necessities of life. Like, think about Elon Musk. Why the fuck do we have a trillionaire? Thankfully, that lasted like a day.
Yeah. Still too much money, but yes. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's it. Right. And then people don't understand. And then all of our, mental energy goes to the people who are trying their best to make it work, but we don't put energy over there. It's like, oh, no, you're not doing enough. Why did you make the decision to work there anyway? There's a privilege of, having the ability to make choices, and people don't see that. And I think what can happen too, which is just a, psychological thing, is that even people who have been in the same situation will still judge really harshly. And that's because they want to distance themselves and want to feel like they have a bit of privilege and power. So it's not always just people in the upper ends of socioeconomic status. Sometimes it is people who have been there or are there, but they want to distance themselves from it. And those will be sometimes the harshest critics in some ways. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see it all the time. Like, I see it with my Hispanic family and the way that they will align themselves with people like Trump who are literally against them and their interests.
And it's really just for that proximity to whiteness.
Yes.
And that's right. And it's really just about that. And then all that happens, not just to other people, but also to that community too, as a result of that. But there's no thought to that. It's just that pure desire to be, to be connected in that way, to feel whatever that feeling is. Yes.
Thinking that will protect you, but eventually it might help. It might shield you for a little bit, but it's not going to protect you in the long run.
Right. Because you're never part of the group. No matter what you do, you don't ever get in. Right. Yes.
Yeah. So the wealthy residents in this apartment building view employees and outsiders as tools rather than people. Just like, okay, you might decide as one of the residents that you want to join them and that you're going to help them. So that's your proximity to whiteness, right? And it's going to keep you safe for now, but you're still serving them. You're not equal to them.
Nope.
they're still just the housekeepers. They're still seen as second-class citizens, and they are still disposable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, easily. Right. Exactly. Second anything goes wrong, it's not right. They're gone. Right. That's it. But it's hard to recognize that. So I think, right. So when we're in survival mode, I think that's also part of it, is that we have to recognize there is a vulnerability there with them. And then if that feels to be the only thing that they can latch on to, even if it's not safe, even if it's going to, lead to consequences, some people will go in that direction. People do many different things, but that's unfortunately is the direction that people go in when they're in that survival mode.
Yeah. And I think that specifically the housekeepers in They Will Kill You are a great example of this type of person that exists and is able to exist in that world. But there is not, like we had just talked about, its proximity. Does not equal acceptance.
Right.
And you are still very disposable.
That's it. Exactly. Right. So you're so used to like all the messages that say like, oh, obviously the white supremacy, like, oh, this is the way to be. This is what you should be. This is what you should, go for. And it's almost like brainwashing, essentially. And if you don't ever recognize the systems that you live in, you just completely go with that because that's all that you know. And you haven't known that there's something to critically think about. So it's really sad, really sad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of people are uncomfortable with confrontation.
Yeah.
And this movie is all about confrontation.
Oh, yes,
which I
exactly.
love because I love being confrontational.
Yes.
But, a lot of people will instead be the housekeeper that will sit there and lock their door and ignore what is going on outside in the hallway. Because it's just easier. It's easier, and it's easy to say, you know what? It's not me. It's not affecting me. And I have to take care of myself.
Right. And that's what I think about so interesting about our society and the horror movies that we see. We see this play out all the time. Do people come together in these times, or do people say it's just about me and it's just, about my family and who's immediately around me? So it's just interesting to see what we do in those times when we choose to say, no, I'm going to say something, I'm going to do something, and the times when people choose to not do so.
Yeah. And I think that's really evident in this movie. The film turns the phrase, the rich feed off the poor, into literal horror. Critics frequently identify class inequality as one of the central satirical ideas in this film. And I agree.
Yeah, 100%. It kind of makes me think of Society. Society had a really, so this was like splatter. That was just like pure, like gross body horror. But also Society, like that's one that people don't really know about. I hope, again, over time that we really re-explore these movies because they're telling such important messages. And people like to think, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but people really like to think about these messages only came post Jordan Peele. But all of a sudden, horror got woke. That is not how horror has been doing this stuff from day one. The 80s with Society, even before then, the 70s, the 60s, we've seen it from the very beginning with these themes. 100%.
The 30s, there was a movie Freak is one of my favorite horror movies.
Oh, yes. Right. Exactly. Right. So this is nothing new, but it's just a nice way. This movie did such a good job with telling the story in this particular way.
Yeah. We got the phrase gaslight from the thriller horror movie Gaslight.
Right. Oh, that's right. And, yes. Yeah.
And people think that horror, no, they're just wrong. You're just wrong if you believe that.
Yes, exactly. Horror has always been this medium for talking about what we have going on in society, including issues around race and gender and all of that stuff has always been present. Yes.
Yeah. So my next statement here is that wealth breeds greed and unchecked power. A lot of times people will start out with good intentions, but as soon as they get like a little taste of that power, a little taste of that luxury, they just become greedy and they want more, and they're not willing to distance themselves from it and make themselves vulnerable to go back to that uncomfortable place that they were at before. People are all about being comfortable. We have our neurological system, your regulating system.
Oh, the nervous system. Yeah.
Yeah. So that system, we're always trying to get it regulated. So if you're in these situations where you have to be opposed those systems, then you're not going to be regulated. And people are always trying to be as comfortable as possible. But that's not how I function.
Right. And of course, I'm a therapist, so I care very much about people having regulated systems. And I practice that and I try to make sure to help support people in that. But just to say, there's good reason for being dysregulated. Very good reason. And to me, it's worth it. It's worth it for that. Right. At the end of the day, I would rather look back on my life and say that I was stressed sometimes, or maybe, had some stuff going on because I was doing stuff that I value, that I think is important, providing education, having difficult conversations. I'd much rather have that be how I look back on my life, that I was comfortable all of my life. That's not how I see my personal growth happening. Is not through comfort. It happens from uncomfortable conversations. Even about these conversations, I learn and grow every time. If there's a difference of opinion or someone has a different perspective, even if we don't come to a place of agreement, I learn and grow as a result of that. So comfort all the time, not how it's meant to be.
Yeah. So the residents operate openly within their own community because they believe they're untouchable. Luxury apartments become a fortress where outsiders rarely question what happens. They explain it away by saying, like, rich people. And we hear that phrase repeatedly in this movie to explain away all this secrecy, what's happening in this building.
That's just what they do. Yep.
We just don't go here. And the police don't investigate. No one comes in because those are the rich people. We leave them alone. Why?
You know what this reminds me so much of is People Under the Stairs. And that does not get enough credit. I'm glad that Jordan Peele, I think, is involved in the new project with it. I hope that brings some life to it and that people actually watch the original. Wes Craven knew exactly what he was saying, but that is it. This family lives in this house. Everyone knows that they have money. The people know all the dirty secrets about them, but no one feels like they can do anything with it. The cops come, the family gives them tea and cookies and things like that. They don't really look around. They're just having a nice break. Doesn't really matter. Right. So it reminds me so much of People Under the Stairs. I think it's telling a similar story, not exactly the same, but similar in terms of classism. That was more about gentrification, but there's some similar themes there.
Yeah. And I covered that movie on my podcast as well. I love Wes Craven. That's one of my favorite movies from Wes Craven. I think he always he's like one of those directors who he didn't direct or make movies because he wanted to make a movie. He did it because he had a message. He had something he wanted to say.
Right. And that's why he stepped away from certain projects, because it's like, nope, I don't want to tell this story. Right. I know, particularly with some of the nightmare movies. Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I really appreciate that about him.
I respect him.
Yes.
So much. Status and exclusivity and discourage investigation. Rather than hiding in remote woods, evil exists behind expensive doors in one of the world's richest cities. Evil sits in plain sight.
Everywhere. And that's the thing that's, it's so interesting. I feel like people look at certain communities who don't have a lot of resources like, oh, that's where evil is. Evil is everywhere. Everywhere. It's just that people aren't talking about it in certain communities. You don't know what's going on. I remember going to a lecture when I was in graduate school and the professor saying we have a lot of families who have privilege who are suffering in silence. And I did see that doing in-home work in certain privileged communities. Because in other communities, people can talk about it. They can share like, oh, my kid, this and that happened. So it's more out there. But these families, it's hidden and nobody would know. Ooh, the things I heard and saw when I went into those communities, and nobody would know that anything was going on. This illusion of the perfect family.
I mean, we've seen that with true crime again and again. What is it? The brothers that killed their mom and dad, they shot them.
Oh, the Menendez. Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Menendez brothers.
No one would have ever thought that. I would have thought it because I know how these things go. But people don't usually think that. Exactly. Right. Yep.
So, yeah, the next theme is the elite as a cult. So privilege becomes religion. They worship it. They worship money. They worship their exclusivity. And whether or not they actually worship it, this symbolism, it's a metaphor.
Yeah, right. But I also wonder, this is something to think about, like they probably do meet the criteria for being a cult.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely
100%. Right.
They're definitely a cult.
Yeah. Well, especially because, right. But just how that translates to like the real world. Yeah. And when we see these communities, these privileged communities doing that, it kind of is the same. Yeah. It does function exactly the same. The same ideology. You can't break from the leader, like just all of that stuff. Everything is there. It's shown more specifically in certain ways in the movie, but I think it's a clear contrast to real life.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that, we have these privileged classes and I think I mentioned it in my last episode. It was the whole like list that came out. It was like the secret society. Oh yeah, the group called Dialogue. And it was a private invitation only organization founded in 2006 by Peter Thiel, who is also in the Epstein files. Yeah. And they had seminars like build a cult, literally build a cult.
Yes, right. Okay. So that says it right there. Exactly. Yes. Wow. Yes. If you take away some elements, I don't know that many people recognize that this is real. They just kind of look at the whole thing. Oh, all just a story. All you do is remove like one little piece of it and it's real life. Yes.
Yeah. Just keep the anonymity of the power and the money and the community aspect. And it's, it's the same.
Yep. That's it. Exactly. Right.
Take the supernatural out.
That's it. That's
but
really
they are untouchable. And they think they're untouchable.
So I really see like Asia, right? It's just kind of going in and doing what so many of us want to do, like causing chaos, shutting it all down. Like just like that's what's so exciting, I think, for me. Well, besides like having representation. So seeing her obviously being a Black woman, doing all that stuff, that is like really, really exciting. We talked about we don't see that. So for me to see that on the screen, so exciting. But also she's representing what we want to do with everything that we're seeing, hearing, and learning about these days. I think it's empowering almost to see her do that. And then to think about how are we going to do that? Maybe not in those specific ways, but it might give us some thoughts about it. Yes.
Yeah, there's a way to dismantle it that isn't, I mean, even thinking about the fight sequences and the fact that these ritually cult leaders, they can be wounded, but they can't actually be taken down.
Right, like abolishing slavery. And then it moved to, all these different things. And then, come work on the farm. And then you can't ever get your way out of it, right? Or you own the farm and you can't really ever own it. And you always owe more money, all of that stuff. And then people, Black men getting arrested at higher rates. So even when you think you've got that monster, it will just morph into something else and sometimes come back stronger in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. People might think that that's silly that they can be killed, but it's showing like the immunity. But yes. I think it's the reality, especially to the point that you were saying. I think that's one way that it takes form. Another way that it takes form is these people get exposed and they might get a dent in their reputation. Like Peter Thiel, I think for a day, whenever the secret society came out, for a day, he got heat and then it was gone. Right. And he was back to normal again.
And then we think about the people who are, marginalized. One little thing happens, we think of all the people going and being held in correctional facilities and they haven't even been charged with anything yet and have all these, negative consequences. And that will forever. Who is it? I forget, Khalif Browder, not even charged, I think. So just charged, but not even convicted, and spent 2 years in Rikers and then ended his life because of all of the trauma of that situation. So it just goes back to, right, you can have this whole horrific thing be known, a dent, and somebody who didn't even do anything has their whole life destroyed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we really need to be recognizing these systems that are in place and how they are serving. And, we see it with women as well whenever it comes to cancel culture. And a man will never be canceled the way a woman that stands up for themselves will be canceled.
That's it. Right. That makes me think of the Brock Turner case and how the judge was so concerned about how he would do in a correctional facility. Yeah.
I mean, just any celebrity that you think of that has been accused of rape or beating their wife or any of these things, they might have a little scrape. It might be a little scratch, but then they're going to come back and nothing ever happened. But there are women in the film industry and the music industry.
They'll be harassed. They'll be
for not even doing attempt
not
what the men have done.
That is so true. Right. That's it. And people just participate in it without actually recognizing what's going on. They think, oh, these are just my thoughts and this is just the truth, not realizing it's a system that's kind of having you see it in that particular way. Right. Right.
Yeah. People make it too personal. They take things too personal. Like, this isn't about you.
This has nothing. Right. Exactly. There's larger things at play. Yes.
So the next, theme is that greed requires human cost. Every
Mm.
luxury has a price someone has to pay.
Yep.
Someone else has to pay.
Yes.
The building's prosperity is directly connected to exploitation.
Mm.
They literally can't continue living forever unless they kill this person. And they have to kill this person in a very specific way. There are very specific rules. There is a
Mm.
ritual for them to continue living the life that they live and the luxury that they live.
And they're willing to do it again, because once you have that power, you will do anything to keep it. It's just sad that, the values doesn't kick in, like those basic things about humanity, how that can just completely go off to the side and that this can just take over 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the residents justify horrific acts as necessary for maintaining their lifestyle, even though the residents are not, they're the housekeepers, they're the help. And the horror asks whether immense privilege is truly free. And I would say no.
Right, because they're trapped as well, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it. They don't realize that they're caught in something too. And even if they did, they probably say, well, I have a better life and I have all these advantages, so I'm okay with it. That could be what they say, even if they were aware. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sick world.
Oh, that's why I got my Six Sad World shirt.
Ah,
Yeah.
perfect. I love it.
I figured that'd be great for this conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be great. I would love for a world where we could look out for each other and
Yes.
us not worry about our comfort as much. And you know what? If you do have comfort, realizing where your comfort level, like your threshold, or what is necessary for your comfort, for you to survive, for you to do all these things. And then
Right.
how can you help other people also achieve that instead of
Yes.
continuing try to acquire wealth and all these things that are happening? We have so many millionaires and billionaires in America. And I really don't feel that you can be a good person and be a billionaire. At this point,
Right.
being a millionaire is nothing. If you have $1 million, you can't even retire.
I know. That's the thing. Exactly. So, but we're looking at those really high ends of things. Right. Right. So yes, community, obviously, just kind of being a social worker, I think it's something that we need more of, and not the competition. I think that's the other thing that happens is that, no, I don't want to help you, because then that's going to take away from what I'm trying to achieve and how I'm trying to get myself going in life. And that's not at all how it works. It's through community that we find our way through. That's exactly it. And we actually know when it comes to tough situations, trauma, all of that stuff, healing really happens in community, different types of communities, but it happens in community. So that would be really great if we could move in a different direction. Whether or not we do that in my lifetime, I don't know, but I'm going to promote it. I'm going to talk about it and hope that we do. And we do it a lot. So I don't want to take away from that. There's a lot of community building, a lot of people having these conversations. I think we just need to continue what we are doing.
Basically, how I see it is if your activism and your social issues that you stand on are not intersectional, then you're not an activist and you're not there for social issues. You're there for yourself in a very specific group.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So when I try to think about things, I challenge myself to not just think about, Black women. I want to think about everybody, everyone who has the, different things going on, different marginalized groups, all of that stuff. It has to be about that community, right? We need to build community in that way too, outside of our own communities, right? And really, have touch points with other communities, learn from each other, grow together. 100%. That's it. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So in the film, we have my next theme is that trauma creates purpose. The protagonist, her past shapes her willingness to fight. Asia's childhood trauma motivates many of her decisions. And you see that through flashbacks. You see that through the opening sequence really shows you that trauma. And I mean, it's just such a beautifully shot, beautifully done, heartbreaking scene to see her, try to protect her sister, try to get her away. And then she is caught between, can she actually take care of another person when she knew she was going to be taken away? She put herself at risk.
But she was willing to take that risk, but just ended up that particular way. Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. By shooting her dad, then spoilers, this is for the beginning of the movie, but by shooting her dad, she then was put into jail for that. And then, she thought that she was going to save her sister by getting rid of him, but he ended up surviving. And if anything, that just made the entire situation worse for her sister.
Right.
And there's no way to know that that's going to be the situation.
That's
And
it.
it's not her fault, but
Right.
it's just very unfortunate because then she wasn't there to protect her sister the way she wanted to.
And that's what's so interesting about this stuff, especially guilt. And I love talking about guilt as a therapist, but it kind of knows how to come up no matter what. So there's guilt about that. But had she not have done it, there could have been guilt on the other side. So you really sometimes just have to make these decisions and hope for the best. And that's what she did in that moment. We sometimes have to make these quick calculations. Is this the way to go? And she did that. And we saw how it ended up. But that was the best idea for her at the time. And that's what made sense. Yeah. And I also think about like post-traumatic growth, which we don't talk about as much as PTSD, but I think Aisha's a good, character to kind of reflect that, what that can look like. It's not to say that we're happy that our trauma has happened, not that at all, but that it often can lead to growth in many ways, especially finding community, finding an outlet, which we consider what she's doing like an outlet for some of that energy while still focusing on love and healing and all of that stuff. So she just makes me think about that. And post-traumatic growth is actually so common, and we don't talk about it enough. So she kind of represents that to me as a therapist.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've heard the phrase post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense.
It is, right? There's so much that can happen, right? Recalibrating, finding a way to channel it. I know so many people, survivors of different things who do artwork and workshops and work with people who've been through that, just offers something special for the community, but also for them. So again, not happy that it happened, but there can be some good outcomes in some ways if it has happened.
Yeah. Like the reason why I'm making my film is post-traumatic growth. I have a message I want to say. They're very specific experiences that I'm pulling from, that I put into the film. I do want to protect survivors because my movie is going to be based on the Epstein files, and it's about sex trafficking rings and dismantling them. And it's about, you will never, like my film, you will never see harm to a child or a person that is not someone who is being killed for doing harm.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
That's one thing I'm switching up. And really the horror comes between the power dynamic between the young and vulnerable and the older head figures. But that has to do with, I have a very specific perspective on that because I lived that. So I'm able to put that on screen and really create that dynamic and make it where I can make the audience uncomfortable.
Yes, right. You have the power, which is so special. So that's part of that healing. Absolutely. And then you help others heal. So when that goes out there, when other people who have been through similar things or anything related, as they watch it, they engage in a healing process as well. So that is healing in community. That describes it very, very well.
I'm excited about what I'm creating and how different it is and how important it is. I really think it's going to be important for victims to have this central figure that can kind of be not a justified hero, but maybe, a protagonist in their eyes, complicated.
So I hope one day to be able to analyze your movie in one of my classes. That would be fantastic to be able to do that someday. I look forward to that.
Yeah. I would guest spot in your class.
Oh, great. Okay. Yes, I would love that. Okay. So we're already planning on that. So you're committed now.
Yes. Once my movie's out. Yes, I would love to. Yeah. With Asia, we get this emotional resilience. And it's important for her survival. She is a fighter and she is so badass. Like every single fight scene that she's in, you're just like rooting for her the entire time.
Yes.
Her physical ability, like this woman is strong as hell. I love her.
Exactly. It's just, it just makes me just so that I think that's what I was feeling, like her strength and her power. And I was feeling it and I wanted to like almost experience it. Just seeing what she was able to do. And again, it gives me hope that there is like, I have power within me to be able to fight back against all these things, that we're kind of talking about. So very empowering movie, I think.
Yeah. And like the last time we really saw a figure like this, a lot of people compare it to Kill Bill and, but that's a white woman. And so now this is finally showing a position of power and this like fight and resilience within this Black woman. And
Yes.
it's finally celebrating. We're finally getting a Black woman that we can celebrate in that way.
Right. Exactly. So I hope we continue. I hope we continue with it. Yes.
Yeah, we need more of this
Mm-hmm.
because so many of the ways in which Black women are portrayed in film is very degrading.
Yep. It just
And-
reinforces, right, all of the stereotypes. And this is so hard because then we have then someone doing something different, really representing a beautiful model of it. And people are like, I don't like this. And just not even recognizing that their discomfort comes from the fact that it's breaking all of those stereotypes and rules that we expect. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, if you point it out to them, you are the bad person.
That is
It's like,
easy to
no,
say.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get you to understand where
Yes,
this is
just
coming
think.
from, where this
Yes.
feeling is coming from, because you're not used to seeing this. And, I can look at, I've done this in the past where I've looked at creators' reviews and I can find the inconsistencies. I don't even have to, I don't have to watch everything. I know
Mm.
specific movies that have very, very similar themes. And I will find that same theme within a movie with a white protagonist and then anyone else that is not a white
Yep.
protagonist. And their reaction to those
Yep.
movies and those themes will be 100% different. And they get so mad when I point it out.
Those are just facts. Exactly. And that's what I say all the time. Some things are just facts. So you can't really argue with that. You can have feelings about it, but that's just a fact. That's data. Right. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's just trying to cancel me. No, I'm
No.
just holding you accountable.
We're just talking, right? It's okay to be challenged. Even myself, I am not perfect. I'm not the knower of all things, and I know everything about social justice, and I don't make mistakes or anything like that. I want people to point those things out. That's how I get better. I've had uncomfortable conversations, and that's how you improve. But if you just keep yourself in that little box, it doesn't ever get better, right? It's not a threat. It's an opportunity, I think.
I mean, I'm definitely antagonizing them when I do it.
Okay, well, there's that part. Yes.
But there's more to it.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
it's
Still something to think
multifaceted.
about. Exactly. Right. And I think you probably do that because you already know where they're going to go with it. I think, if it was an opportunity to actually, for there to be growth and some processing, right, that would be different. But you probably are.
I'm not their friend. They're not going to see me as someone who is ever like, hey, I'm just trying to give you some information, help you out, help you see this. They're never going to see me in that way.
Right.
And I come off as
It's a challenge. It's a push. Yeah.
And I know I'm going to, but hopefully I don't think that they were ever going to receive my information well, not coming from me. So what I hope is that my being an antagonistic bitch can make them at least reflect a little bit.
It happens in all different ways. Exactly. Yes.
A little bit. Just like,
Yes.
look at your inconsistency. Look at yourself.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So I get into family as redemption next, and love is stronger than the cult's demands. Asia's motivation is rooted in protecting family rather than revenge alone. Revenge alone is not enough. I think a lot of times we see rage on screen, we see revenge as the overall motivator, but that is never enough to actually get you to continue going.
Right.
That might get you to your first stop, but it's not going to get you going in the long run.
And then what happens after that?
Yeah.
Right. And I was actually just recorded a video about The Crow and how that is so much about revenge, but at the core, it's really about love for Shelley. Like that is it. So the revenge is part of it, but that's not what's central. And that's why that's such a beautiful story, because love was at the center, not the revenge. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. Her decisions consistently prioritize another person's safety, her sister, and the emotional stakes remain personal even as the violence escalates. This keeps the story grounded amid its supernatural action.
Yes, exactly. I think that really centered the movie for me, seeing their relationship, the dynamics. I liked how it wasn't a happy reunion necessarily, because that's exactly what it would be like. Feelings are complicated. It's not like, oh, I haven't seen you. Oh, so great to see you, sis. That's not how it plays out in the real world. So I really like that they showed that complexity in the relationship. And again, having BIPOC characters, seeing complexity in their dynamic and their communication is very special. So I really appreciated having that at the center of the story.
Yeah. And I loved how their characters were written. Their characters were written not in a stereotypical way. It was just these are two sisters. They didn't play into, and not that I saw. Did you see any stereotypes that they might have been playing into?
No, nothing that stands out for me, right? I'm going to watch it again a few more times, just like you did. But yeah, nothing that stands out, right? Which is good. That's good.
Yeah.
At least on that first viewing and you watched it a couple times, that's good that there's nothing that's obvious there. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good sign.
So the next theme is going to be hell isn't underground, it's luxury. Evil hides inside beautiful places, and that's how it's able to shield itself.
Mm.
And this echoes conspiracy theories about secret societies in Hollywood. The elegant high rise contrasts with the brutality concealed inside. Luxury is used to seduce you to be into this like evil, secretive world and do these bad things.
Yes. Exactly. Right. I like that whole, right. It's seductive. Like, oh, look at this power you can have and all this privilege and all of that stuff. Right. And people buy into it. Right. And go along with it. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like have all these theories about, especially celebrities, whenever, there's like the Pizzagate, there are all these things about, oh, they're eating the kids. They're doing all the, I don't really think anyone's eating kids personally. I don't, I think that that's a little.
But there's certain things that I think about like more like likelihood. So that's kind of how I think about everything. I can't always say that, nope, not possible, because so many things are. This is a crazy world, but the likelihood of it is smaller than some of the other things that seem to be far more likely. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where it's like, it becomes this like weird, you don't want to go too far down the conspiracy path.
Yes. Right. Right.
But there
are things going on. In secret, 100%.
Yeah. And most of it is honestly a sex trafficking ring and gatekeeping and just deciding who gets to be sat at the table.
Yes.
And who gets to eat.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And then has that power to make decisions that affect all of us who know nothing about what's going on. Right. Right.
Exactly. And it's so simple and it's so basic, but it's so nefarious.
Right. And that's why this movie coming out at this particular time is it's perfect for what we have going on and so representative.
Yeah. Evil is basic as fuck.
Yes. That sums it up nicely. I like that quote.
Yeah.
Should get some stickers made.
I know. Your basic bitch ass is evil. So the next commentary that the director had, in other interviews, he talked about how Dante's Inferno is as social commentary. The building itself functions as a modern version of hell. The apartment building is named the Vigil, referencing Dante's guide through hell. The floors correspond to the 9 circles of hell, with sins such as lust, greed, violence, fraud, and treachery, represented through the building structures and inhabitants. And we do see that whenever she's like crawling through the walls and there's like this orgy happening below trailers. And she's like, what is happening? And then like the guy is like, well, people get bored.
Right. All that power and privilege. Right. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're just like all having orgies. Yes. So they're bored.
Yes. But that's I don't think I knew that watching the movie. And this is why I love rewatching for many reasons, but it's, you can take a different lens. You can get that information and then watch the movie and really notice things that you didn't see before. So that'll be really interesting when I rewatch it to incorporate that. Yeah.
So I guess that was part of his inspiration. And then also the apartment building, like he got the idea when he moved in with his wife to this like creepy older apartment building, and it reminded him of Rosemary's Baby and that cult. So like that's kind of where this originated, like with
I like
story.
That. Yes, I could see that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely, inspiration from Dante's Inferno and Rosemary's Baby in here.
Yes. Yeah. Now that you're saying it, right. Exactly. It makes so much sense. Right. Right. But I like that it's got those pieces of it and still doing something so new and so fresh at the same time.
And so my last theme is violence as liberation. Fighting back becomes an act of reclaiming agency. Asia evolves from someone entering the building as vulnerable labor into someone refusing to accept its rules. The action sequences emphasize survival over spectacle alone. Each
Mm.
confrontation represents resistance and resilience against a
Yes.
system designed to consume her. And
Right.
this is why many critics compare the film to Kill Bill, The Raid, and Ready or Not. The violence is framed as resistance against entrenched power.
That's exactly it. Right. Right. Yes. That sums it up perfectly, I think. Yes, that's exactly it. She's resisting, but we see the resilience. She's fighting back. She might get hurt. Might get knocked down, but she comes back up and
Mhm.
says, nope, nope, I'm not. And we're not stopping until this is over. Yes.
I mean, and she's got the resistance, she's got the fight to continue going
Yes.
without having that reset button every single time and
Mm,
that eternal life to like save her. Whereas the
right.
others, they know that it's just going to be a scratch. They're going to heal back up. They're not really
Right.
worried. She's going full steam ahead,
With a
knowing that
human, right. Human
this
body.
is
Right.
life or
Yes.
death
Yeah.
for her.
That's it. Exactly. Kind of makes me think of this whole, that whole thing of having to work harder, so they're just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be, broken apart in pieces and I'll be perfectly fine. She has to put everything in it to just be able to meet them at that level. Right. So that's what makes me think of, how she has to work harder for her survival.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've got me thinking about it. People in the Black community
Yeah.
or minorities,
Yep.
like you have to work twice as
Twice as
hard
hard. Yep.
to get the same results.
Yep.
I mean, that's
That's
basically
exactly it. That's what we see, right? And I think that's why, and this is again, why it's going to be so good to rewatch it. There's so many things that I was feeling that I wasn't aware of. I think I was just taking it all in. And then now, watching it again and pulling out even more of that. That's what I'm going to be excited for when I see it next few times. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to tell me if you feel exactly
Sure.
the way our conversation, if anything has changed as well.
Yeah, this is actually
Because I
perfect. You processed it and then,
I'll probably watch it again.
Yes. Okay. And then we'll compare notes. Okay. That'll be great.
What did you think about that final boss kill scene? I loved it. I thought it was so fantastic. It reminded me of something out of a video game.
Yes. Oh, maybe that's what I was kind of picking up on, like what it was like, kind of looked like and felt like, yes, I could see that. Yeah. I thought it was great. I love what they did. Right. Yeah. I know we can't say too much, right? So,
Yeah. I'm not going to say but it was very much a boss fight.
Yes, great. So I loved it beginning to end. I think there isn't one part that I felt wasn't like, I feel like it kind of started not right at the very beginning, but it started and it just kept going. And there wasn't any point where I wanted to pause or look away or do something else. It really had my full attention straight through. Yes.
Yeah. The stamina of the actress that played Asia, just like, wow.
Yes.
Like,
right. Wish I had that energy. I aspire to have that touch.
she was phenomenal. I love her.
Yes.
So I think we pretty much covered everything from the movie that I was going to cover when it came to themes and things like that. I don't want to give away the end. So if you are listening, if you have not seen this movie, please go see it. It is worth your time. I think that this is going to eventually be a cult classic.
Yes.
And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's going to be in my top 10 of the year.
Easily for me too. Right. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for this conversation. This is fantastic. I love this. This is great.
Yeah. I just have one game I want to play with you really quick before I let you go.
Okay.
I always I sometimes don't put in the games, but I put it in here and it's called Horror Fandom. Is it a cult?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
And so I'm going to ask you some questions and you're going to say yes or no. And depending on, and then I'm going to score you. It's kind of like the magazine, like the quiz. Like,
yes. I remember those. Yes.
Sign are you? What's your, so are you a cult member?
Okay. Let's see.
All right. Number 1, have you attended regular gatherings with the same group of people on multiple occasions?
The same group of people. Gatherings beyond family, but all family could be part of that.
Well, specifically, we're talking about horror stuff.
Oh,
so
okay. So yes.
Horror.
Yes. Then no. We'll see at the end.
Do you wear matching clothes or recognizable symbols to the horror community?
Yes. Yes. I know. I see that look.
Um,
I can't
Do
lie.
you have memorized specific quotes and repeat them often?
Does it have to be out loud? It's in my head as running commentary constantly. Does it always have to be out loud?
That counts because it's internalized. And
Okay.
that's even worse.
Oh no. I need help. Okay, then yes, constantly.
Okay, perfect. Because there are a lot of, especially the Scream franchise, like people just throw those phrases out all the time. And like,
Mhm.
that's their called teeth.
Yes, that's true.
Have you traveled long distances to attend special events with the horror community?
Yeah, because that's hard because we don't know how I have traveled different places. I guess it depends on the length of time. I think how far I have gone. Yeah, I probably have. I'm going to have to say yes to that.
Have you waited in line for hours to meet respected figures?
Hours.
Hours.
I'm trying to think for Robert England how long I was in line. I don't know if it was out. Well, no, it might have been. It was a good chunk of time.
Probably
And then who
hours.
else?
If you were waiting
Yeah.
for Robert England,
Right.
you waited hours.
Yeah. So automatically right there, then that's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is your home decorated with images of people in the horror community?
People or objects and other materials.
All of it
People.
counts.
Then you can do like 4 X's for that. Yeah, it's absolutely every inch of space, every room, multiple things in every room. Yeah.
Have you spent significant amounts of money on merchandise and collectibles for this group?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be better with that. I'm trying, but yes, 100% I have.
It's hard. It's a hard habit to break.
Yes.
You have to feed the overlords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you learned the history and traditions of the horror genre? The horror
Yes.
group. Yeah.
Including studying it. Yes.
Have you introduced newcomers to the community's customs?
Yes.
Do you celebrate annual events that outsiders don't understand? This could be for conventions. This
Right.
could be
Yep. Jaws Day.
Horror Night.
Right.
A lot of people will
Yes.
think it's weird, right?
Yes. Then yeah, easily. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you stay up all night participating in community activities?
Well, I guess it depends on how consistently. I love my sleep. That is central to my mental health. So I very often don't stay up late. But if I do, is it involving the horror community? Yeah, possibly when I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're not losing sleep though. You don't
Right.
have like
Okay.
sleep deprivation.
But
because of the
staying
horror
up. Yeah. Then yes. Right.
Okay. So we won't put that one for you.
Okay. That doesn't work on me.
Do you collect signatures or photos from influential members?
Yes. And have a whole wall dedicated to that. Yes.
All right. Right now you're at 10. Do you speak using phrases or inside jokes only other members would recognize?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I say it to anybody, but not everyone knows what I'm talking about. But yes.
Yeah. Do you dress up as important figures during special gatherings?
Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Do you display symbols, logos, or artwork that represents this community?
Have my zombie outbreak response team sticker on my car. So I think that might be a signal too.
That
Yeah. 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 So we can get that. Yes.
Yeah. If there's like pins that you have on your bags, if there's
Yeah, I have my Freddy Krueger bag that I take to work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel an immediate connection with strangers who share the same interests?
Yep. Automatically, right away. Yes. We're best friends at that point.
Do you rearrange your schedule around important community events for this group?
Yes. Mm-hmm. All the time. We'll be doing a lot of that in October. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you encourage friends and family to join you at these gatherings?
No. So that's going to be a no. I kind of like to do my own thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Gatekeeper. I get it. It's okay. Do you defend the community when outsiders misunderstand it?
100%. I'm actually going to be doing that later on this afternoon and explaining that horror is way more than people recognize. It's not a throwaway. It's not silly slasher. So yes, I'll be doing that today, very specifically and intentionally. Yes.
Okay. All right. And last one, do you describe your involvement as finding your people?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very culty talk.
Yes, I know.
All right. So basically, there's 0 through 5 is casual fan, 6 through 10 is certified horror fan, 11 through 15 is convention disciple,
Ooh.
and 16 through 20 is cult status.
Okay.
Horror.
Yes, where am I?
You are officially, you got 17 out of 20. So you are cult status.
Look at that. But that also doesn't surprise me. I know who I am. So yes.
Yeah, no, I 100% get cult status.
But such a cool way to take a look at that. Right. Exactly. But it all matches up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
It was lovely talking to you.
Yes, you too. Yes. This was great. So yes, everyone go watch the movie if you haven't seen it.
Let's end on a high note. Weekly horror update. Her Private Hell is a sci-fi horror from Nicholas Winding Refn. It is in theaters today. Pinocchio Unstrung is also in theaters. It's the next gruesome installation in the twisted childhood slasher universe. Evil Dead Burn is still in theaters. I highly recommend seeing it. It is definitely one of my favorite of the year. I made a review on it and it's on my socials. I don't understand all the hate that's coming this movie's way, but I have a few theories as to why that is. The new trailer for Clayface just came out and it looks amazing. I cannot wait for this movie. I think it is going to be one of my favorite of the year. I'm a huge fan of body horror, especially psychological body horror. So this is going to be one to definitely see in theaters. If you didn't already know, we're getting close to Ice Cream Man coming into theaters and a lot of people are hyping it up. I just want to say personally, I've already made a post about this, but I will not be seeing this movie in theaters or probably at all. I do not support Eli Roth. He is a Zionist, and that is not the same thing as being Jewish. If I have to explain that to you, I think that I literally have Jewish ancestry. A fourth of my family was slaughtered in the Holocaust on my grandfather's side. Being a Zionist and being Jewish are not the same things. And anyone that is trying to conflate the two is just trying to confuse you. And there are people who are using anti-Zionism for anti-Semitism. And that is also not okay. None of that is okay. It is an extremely complicated issue. But Eli Roth is not a good person, and he's not a good person on many, many different levels. It's not even just that. So I will not be supporting that movie. And you are your own person. You get to make your own choices. But I'm just putting it out there that that is my choice. That is my right as a person with free will, that I don't have to support people that I don't agree with and that I think are shitty. The Odyssey is also in theaters, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that one. I haven't seen it yet because I haven't really felt like sitting down for 3 hours to see a movie just yet. The timestamp on that is a little intimidating. I'm not going to lie. The people I've talked to that have seen it said that 3 hours like flies by and that it's such an amazing movie. And so I definitely, that is one of the movies that like you need to see the Odyssey in person. You need to see it on the big screen. I'm an AMC subs member. So I'm definitely going to be seeing it in theaters. I'm going to be seeing almost all of these movies in theaters. I'm not sponsored by AMC Stubs, but I absolutely love their program. I'm so glad that I joined it. And I think it's for someone who, like me, who's a cinephile and wants to see everything in theaters, being an A-lister and being able to see 4 movies a week is really, you can't beat it. Like for the price that it is per month, you cannot beat that. At this point for me, there's no excuse for me not to see every single movie that I want to see in the theaters. I'm, again, not sponsored by them, but I am a AMC Stubs A-list member because it just makes sense. This is a whenever I put it out podcast with episodes out whenever they get put out. All the research writing and audio is done by yours truly. This is a one-woman show, and I'm doing my very best. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. It really means a lot. I'm also working on getting my film made. I have my horror short proof of concept that I'm working on. I have my core team. I'm very excited about the team that I've been able to put together so far. I'm working on all the contracts right now. I'm working on solidifying my talent, but there are a lot of prospects out there. And it looks like I'm going to start filming in November. So with that said, when it comes to that month and when it comes to coming up to that, I might take a break from the podcast, except for maybe like interviewing indie horror directors. I might still do that, but I might take a break from the other, like the research and my theme of the month, just because doing this and directing a movie at the same time does not, unless I could get ahead of schedule and just like bang out a bunch of episodes at once and have them already ready. But I know myself and I know I can't do that. I'm already behind on everything that I'm doing. So please just bear with me. If you're new here, I have this is like my 68th episode. So I have 67 other episodes plus all my indie horror highlights that you can listen to. So there's lots that people can listen to catch up and see what I'm about and what I do and how in depth I actually go into these films. You can find me on Instagram at Scream Queen Podcaster, Blue Sky at Scream Queen Podcast, TikTok at Scream Queen Podcast, and there's a link tree that will take you to my YouTube and Facebook page as well. Remember, underestimating marginalized people can be fatal. Until next time, goodbye.